In this video, I'll take you through 5 of the things I've designed and printed for Ram 1500 RHO. Most of the parts I make could easily be bought online, but that completely defeats the fun. For me, it's not about convenience, it's about the process, the design, the small tweaks, and the satisfaction of seeing a part you imagined actually come to life layer by layer on the printer bed. I already made a full video about printing a custom dashcam housing, which was one of the first things I wanted to do for the truck, and it turned out great. Even though the RHO comes with sleek black wheels from the factory, for some reason it still has plain silver lug nuts, and they really stand out. You can buy an entire set of black steel lug nuts for around $200, but based on my experience with my previous vehicle, those tend to rust after just a few months. So instead of buying new hardware, I decided to design and print my own lug nut covers. I wanted them to be easy to remove, but also wide enough to completely cover the area around each lug nut. It's a very straightforward design, so I didn't even bother recording the modeling part from beginning. I created 2 different versions, one standard smooth cap and another spiked design, just to see which one I like better once mounted. Since these sit on the wheels, where the heat can get pretty intense, I printed them using polycarbonate filament, which can handle up to 145 degrees Celsius and also has a really nice glossy finish. The smooth covers already looked great, filling the entire gap and making the wheels look much cleaner. But when I swapped them for the spiked versions, I instantly liked the look more, so I printed a full set for all 4 wheels. I also added small recessed grooves in the design to make the covers easier to pull off later. They're not for everyone, but personally, I really love them. And the best part is, when I eventually get bored of the spikes, I can just pop them off and replace them with the smooth ones. These have been on the truck for several months now, through highway driving, heat, and rain, and they haven't faded, melted, or flown off. I was recently hand washing the truck and noticed how hard it is to clean because of the sharp spikes, so we'll be switching to the upgraded version with the flat tops. The next thing I wanted to play with was the front grille logo inserts. I've always loved the look of the Ram Charger grills, especially those with illuminated emblems. I wanted to do something in that spirit for RHO, even if it wasn't illuminated yet, just a custom Ram logo insert that looked similar. I scanned the grille and then designed the logo inserts, and in future, if I decide to move on to the LED version, I will already have scan I can use. The scan eventually came out okay after a ton of cleanup work and imported to Onshape. It was impossible to perform Boolean operations or cut features because the model wasn't that perfect. I tried fixing it through a few mesh repair tools, but no luck. Eventually, I gave up and decided to redesign the entire logo from scratch. I don't have time or enough skills to model it myself, so I outsourced the base design to a 3D modeler on Fiverr. 3 days later, and for around $20, he sent me a perfectly accurate model. Honestly, one of the best Fiverr experiences I've had. Once I imported this version, I was able to create the logo infill and added clip mounts so the logo would easily snap into the grille. For the material, I chose PETG. Handles UV light very well and can withstand around 70 degrees Celsius before softening, which is plenty for a grill that's exposed to the sun. I wanted a shiny metallic gold look, but glossy PETG filament isn't really a thing. I ended up using Overture Gold, which has a decent shine. I slowed the print speed in Bambu Studio, which gave it a more shiny look. It's still not shiny like PLA silk, but it has that subtle reflective tone that makes it pop just right. The best part about this setup is that it uses clips, so I can easily swap colors or designs later. I even printed a white version and tried it out for a few weeks, but the gold still fits the truck's color better. And yes, in the future, I absolutely plan to make a light-up version, essentially a 3D printed light box powered from one of the truck's aux lines. For now though, the Ram logo insert looks clean and hasn't warped or faded at all, even in hot weather. As you might have noticed in some of the previous shots, I also designed towhook covers. These are small cosmetic pieces that sit around the front tow hooks, and you can find dozens of versions for sale online for about $20 or so. The problem is, I didn't like their shape. There are also several 3D models available for free download, but again, the shape wasn't quite what I was after. I wanted them a bit rounder that flowed better with the front bumper lines. So, while I was scanning the grille, I went ahead and scanned the tow hooks as well. I used that data to reverse engineer my own version in Onshape. I printed a prototype in PLA just to test the fitment, and it fit surprisingly well on the first try. I probably could have refined it a bit more, but honestly they are fine for now. The final parts were again printed in PETG. They add just enough contrast to the dark front end of the truck to make it look a bit more dynamic. Now this next one is probably my favorite, and it actually started as a totally different project. Initially, I wanted to replace the RHO badge with something completely custom, a Stormtrooper themed emblem. The truck's black and white color scheme instantly reminded me of a Stormtrooper, and since one of my favorite music bands is Stormtroopers of Death, I thought it'd be fun to merge the two ideas, maybe a cracked Stormtrooper helmet with a skull underneath. So, I started generating concepts in Mid-Journey, but the results were all over the place. AI art can be incredibly useful, but it doesn't always understand your vision. Sometimes it creates weird blends, like tiny skulls melted into the helmet, and after a while I realized it would just be faster to finish the design myself. I took one of the better helmet renders, merged it with a separate skull illustration in Photoshop, and got a result I was really happy with. From there, I traced the image in Adobe Illustrator, exported it as SVG, then converted it to DXF using an online converter, and finally imported it into Onshape. Once it was there, I extruded the parts I wanted in black and white, giving them about 0.05 millimeter of height difference so it would be easier to paint or color separate in the slicer. By that point, I changed my mind about replacing the RHO logo and decided this would make a perfect tow hitch cover instead. I found a base hitch cover model online, modified it to fit Ram specs, and attached my badge design to the front. I didn't want to print it all as one piece because I wanted the badge to have a perfectly flat surface for best print quality. So I printed the badge separately on my Bambu carbon fiber textured plate, which gave it this amazing look. Then I glued it onto the main hitch mount, creating a strong and super clean result. It's one of those pieces that makes people ask where I bought it. I wanted to get a removable storage solution that could hold smaller stuff or gear without taking up the entire bed. I looked into Rough Country's cargo boxes, which are nice but too large as they take the whole width of the bed. After browsing Amazon for a while, I found several options between $50 and $120, but then I went to Home Depot and spotted a Husky bin for $16.99, and that was exactly what I needed. It's made of tough plastic, lightweight, and ridiculously cheap for what it is. I could have just left it sitting in the bed since the rubber mat keeps things from sliding, but I wanted to mount it properly, ideally using a magnetic bracket to hold it against the side of the bed. So I scanned part of the bin, went into Onshape, and started designing a mounting bracket. The part of the bracket will slide in the openings on the bottom of the cargo box rim. It's not my best design ever, but it works. Since I want it to be strong and not print in one piece, I have to add some clips so it's easy to put together. Also added holes for the screws so I can fix it to the bin from the inside for even better bond. When I finished printing it, I realized I might have overcomplicated it a bit and it probably could have been much simpler. This is the main part. All other parts will just slide in it. This is where the magnet will go. Again, not the best design. It clearly shows sometimes the idea in the head doesn't end up that good in reality. To mount everything, I decided to use Molle panels. I picked up a full Molle set from Amazon for about $150, which I think is an awesome deal, even though the included hardware was a bit disappointing. The threaded square plates that come with it don't seat properly, and the thread stops too early. I ended up using the supplied spacers to make it work, but if you plan to install one yourself, I'd recommend getting M6 hex rivet nuts instead. Once the Molle panels were installed, I measured the distance to the bin, adjusted the model, and attached my bracket using screws. Fits great, and now it's time to screw it to the basket. This is how nicely it sits against its wall. Only thing I had to figure out was where to drill the holes, and that was pretty easy with using the laser stickers I used for scanning. The screws are in, and this piece won't go anywhere. It slides in cleanly, holds securely, and can still be removed in seconds if needed. It's not the most elegant piece I've designed, but it's functional, strong, and does exactly what I needed. And that wraps up all of my current 3D printed mods for the Ram 1500 RHO. Each project started with a small idea, something I thought could be improved or personalized, and ended up becoming a full-on design experiment. Next in line are the Molle mounts for extinguisher and other needed parts, but that's for next video. Before you go, hit that subscribe button and smash that like button if you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to check out my other videos. Thanks for watching.